On the line by Brendan Coulter to look ahead to the round 4 qualifiers this weekend, which will see the round 3 winners against the provincial losing finalists. And I suppose, Brendan, just first of all, the 4 teams that came through the qualifier sequence, Tyrone, Mayo, Clare and Laois, at the start of the year, maybe are they surprises to you? Are they the 4 teams that would you have expected any of them to come through to be taking on provincial finalists?
Well, you probably would have expected Tyrone and Mayo to be in the other side of it all. You know, you would have expected them to be in a provincial final at the Ulster Connacht. But, you know, Laois were a good team in Division 3. I've seen them first hand play against Down. You know, a very, very good team, well organised. Some great forwards, you know, the Kingstons and guys they got there, Evan Regan up front. So, you know, there's a real good solid base there. And for me, Laois would have been one of the dark horses to come through the qualifier system. And it's no surprise to me that that's where they're at the minute.
Yeah, and I suppose, Brendan, as well, we've seen the provincial finalist, Cavan got a fair, in the end Donegal were way too strong for them, and same way in relation to the Leinster final, Meath and Dublin, it was a bit of a non-event, and I suppose the only, Galway will be very disappointed with their second half showing against Roscommon, where Roscommon completely took over and Galway never really came out of the dressing room for the second half, but Cork were probably the only team of the provincial finalists that will take something away in relation to their performance in the Munster final.
Yeah, absolutely. Cork were very good against Clare, and but for a number of missed goal chances, they probably would have won that game. But I think the big thing with the other teams are that they had a 2-week break, you know, to get themselves ready for these qualifier games. The years gone by, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, it would have been maybe a 6-day turnaround or a 7-day turnaround. But the fact that these 4 teams have had a 2-week break, Galway had a wee bit more, but the other 3 teams had a 2-week break. So last week, you know, at training, they would have looked back at the games, got that out of their systems, and then this week they would have prepared then for this game. So I think it's massive that those 3 teams get the 2 weeks preparation for this game, and I think that'll be a big boost for the Cavans, the Meaths, the Galways and those teams there, because, you know, we did miss quite a few chances against Dublin at the start, and against a team like Dublin, Meath needed to be taking them chances to stand any hope of winning the game. But as I say, the 2-week turnaround will certainly help those teams.
Yeah, and I suppose, Brendan, the first tie we'll probably talk about now is Cork and Laois, and I suppose if many people thought that Cork would be coming into a bit of form going into Championship after what was a disastrous league from in Division 2 and got relegated, I'd say went down with a bit of a whimper in relation to Division 3. But maybe the turn for Cork has been the form of Brian Hurley coming back from injury. He's given them a real focal point in the Cork attack at full forward. And Laois then, on the other hand, coming through where they got promoted to Division 2, they're going one way in relation to going forward, and Cork are going backwards. And Laois, we all know they have calibre forwards, but maybe their defence, is that going to be the key battleground this weekend, how the Laois defence copes with the Cork forwards?
Yeah, I think Brian coming back there from a serious hamstring injury is a massive boost for Cork. Gives them a good focal point there in the full forward line. They have quite a big team. Physically, they're very strong, as are Laois. As I say, I've seen them first hand this year against Down. The thing that would concern me in terms of the Cork defence, will they have anybody to mark the Kingstons and Evan Regan or Big Evan? Yeah, they're very, very good. They're strong, they're physical. It's just something that Down couldn't deal with in the first game of the National League. The physicality, you know, they're very strong all over the field. And I think that there's going to be a shock this weekend, and it wouldn't be a massive shock because Laois are moving up to Division 3 and Cork have been relegated to Division 3. So it's 2 teams that are going opposite ways. But, you know, Cork, there's a wee glimmer of hope there in terms of a great victory over Limerick. Took them over quite easily. and then, the performance against Clare in the Munster final was pretty good. So I'm just going to go for a Laois win there by about 2 points.
Yeah, and I suppose, Brendan, the next game we'll bring you on to now in relation to the All-Ulster clash between Tyrone and Cavan. And I suppose the emphatic victory of the weekend in relation to the round 3 qualifiers was how easy Tyrone put away Kildare, and many people thought Kildare would really test Tyrone on home ground, but Tyrone were rampant in the way they put Kildare to bed. And I suppose Cavan will be looking at the draw and saying they probably got the toughest draw. Tyrone were probably the one team out of all the teams that came through that they didn't want to meet. And is it going to be hard for Mickey Graham's team to try and plot to take down a rejuvenated Tyrone outfit?
I think so, yeah. I do believe that this is the time that Cavan would have wanted to avoid an all-Ulster clash against a Tyrone team who have now come back to, their defensive system, as you call it, and they're playing some delightful football. Big McShane in the full forward line has come into the team there at the start of the National League, and this year he's really transformed that team, and his performances and his confidence at the minute is sky high. Matty Donnelly's playing great stuff too for him. But Cavan will try and keep it tight in the first half and try and stick with through maybe up to 50 minutes. And if they can do that, you never know what could happen, in the last 20 minutes. But I do think that since the defeat to Donegal, Tyrone have went back to their old system, and they're far more comfortable with that. And I do believe that Cavan will certainly push them all the way, but I can't see them having the ability to beat this Tyrone team, because the Tyrone team are very, very good.
Yeah, and I suppose, Brendan, we saw in the first game when Tyrone played Donegal and they reverted from norm, that it probably exposed the weakness that they really didn't have a commanding centre back, and it showed what Colm Kavanagh was doing in relation to behind the centre back. And Donegal went down the Channel 6 route several times and just broke through the Tyrone half back line, and guys coming off the shoulder and goal chances appeared. And the last few games we've seen Colm Kavanagh be sitting in the pocket behind the number 6, and Tyrone don't look like they're going to give away much goals now going forward.
Yeah, there's a massive contrast in the two games, the Donegal game and then the qualifier game against Kildare. I think the Tyrone players would quite comfortably play their system, other than the one that played against Donegal, because the defence was really hung out to dry. Donegal could have had a couple more goals. Colm Kavanagh has that wee bit of steel. He's an experienced player and he's a very good footballer and he knows the load. And, Mickey Hart has tried it against, Derry in the first round Ulster, and then Donegal in the semi-final of Ulster, and it hasn't really worked. So, they're back to type. They're playing great football. They look like a real team on a mission here, and I do believe that they will challenge at the latter end of the championship.
Yeah, and I suppose, Brendan, we'll bring you on now to the all-Connacht clash, and we know Mayo's record against Galway in relation to championship in the last few years. I don't think they've beaten them since 2015 in Salt Hill at any grade in relation to minor, under 20 or senior. But the Mayo side, once the summer gets going, the heat of the summer, Mayo seem to eke out that extra 10-20% every year. But as we've seen each year, the injuries seem to mount, and Lee Keegan going down at the weekend on the back of Diarmuid O'Connor's wrist injury. Is the bodies and the depth of the Mayo squad, can they replace these players of marquee quality? And how do you rate Galway going into this game?
Yeah, I do believe that this Mayo team look like a boxer that's on the ropes. He's concerned that some really tough players, they're tough against Derry. They lost Matthew in the build-up last year. They've lost Diarmuid O'Connor in the build-up the Armagh game. They've lost Lee Keegan in the Armagh game. So for me, I just believe that this Mayo team are just hanging by a thread. They're just hanging there, waiting to be knocked out. And there's no disrespect to Mayo, because they're a fantastic team, but there's only so many players and many injuries they can endure and stick at. But I do believe that Galway are sitting ready for waiting on them, and I do believe that Galway will knock them out.
Yeah, and I suppose, Brendan, lastly, just on Galway before we move to the final counter between Clare and Meath. In relation to Galway, we've seen that the Corfin players, some of them haven't really bought in. Michael Lundy is still not part of the squad. A few of them are coming in, but not really getting game time under Kevin Walsh there in Galway. And do you think maybe the talent, we all know the Galway forwards, the amount of talent they have, for Galway to be serious title contenders, do you think they need to let the handbrake off a bit more often?
I do. I definitely do. Yeah, there's a very talented forward line. And just sometimes the team will play with the handbrake on. You know, with an array of talent at their disposal in the forward line, you know, especially these Corfin boys, get them in, get them playing, get them coming together with the other lads, you know, Stephen Walters and the Hammers and boys that's here. And let them at it, and, you know, they're one of the best candidates now when they play with the ball. I know at the minute they're playing with a handbrake on, but I'd love to see them go toe to toe, you know, this weekend. Because I do believe if they went toe to toe, that they would still beat them.
And I suppose, Brendan, that'll bring us on to the final counter that we've much vested interest in below here in Clare. Clare against Meath. I suppose Clare have been knocking on the door in the Super 8s for the last few years. They got to an All-Ireland quarter-final a few years back against Kerry. Since then they've been there or thereabouts getting to the final rounds. They go in full of confidence on the back of going to Westmeath and eking out a win there on the back of the Leitrim win. A good second half performance against Kerry. And how do you rate their chances against Meath this weekend?
Yeah, I do believe it's going to be a tough ask. Don't get me wrong, I was very impressed with Meath throughout the National League, and I've seen them in the league final against Donegal. I was very impressed with the first half. Although they were very good against Dublin, you know, it depends what sort of team, which team Meath turn up with. The one playing the league final, the winner not champ. If the one playing the Leinster final, you know, you just never know. Clare, you know, you've got to give them credit. They've been knocking on the door the past 3 or 4 years, you know, and now they're in touching distance of making the Super 8. And, you know, they're a fantastic team. I've seen them at close hands the past couple of years. They've come to Newry, they've stayed down till last season, that they've played on this season. Newry built on you know, a fantastic team. The Gary Brennan there in their feet, still learning. And, you know, what an achievement it would be for Clare to get to the Super 8. But I do believe it's going one step too far for them.
Yeah, and I suppose we talk about panels, and we've seen in relation to Mayo shipping a few injuries. The same can be said about Clare. They lost Kevin Hartnett to a cheekbone injury against Kerry. Conlan O'Hanifin there, a shoulder there against Westmeath at the weekend. And for counties like Clare and teams coming that probably have a strong 15, a starting 15, and maybe the reserves probably aren't as there, how important is it for counties like that to have their 1 to 15 on the pitch, especially as the championship heats up? And do you think that's a big tally factor at this weekend, the depth maybe of both two team squads?
Oh yeah, it's massive. You know, really is. You get the championship, you are going to lose players. Maybe you keep playing a game with certain injuries. And, you know, the big teams, the Tyrone and the Donegals, the Dublin, and, you know, teams like that there can afford to lose players because they've got an array of talent on the bench. It's got a real good depth in it, but, you know, no disrespect to teams like ourselves down and Clare and the next Tipperary can't afford to lose players like that. So, you know, it's going to be a big loss losing so many good players.
And finally, as we let you go, Brendan, there, just in relation to the makeup of the Super 8, we could see a situation where you have Kerry, Donegal, Galway, and either Meath or Clare, or Galway, Mayo, and then on the other side you could have a situation where you've Roscommon, Dublin, maybe Tyrone or Laois or Cork. So do you think there's a difference in terms? People are saying that the Kerry-Donegal group side looks a lot stronger in relation to the other side. But do you see that, or do you think at the end of the weekend we'll have two balanced groups of 4?
Yeah, I know, just looking at it from the outside, I do believe that Dublin Roscommon will have the easier group, you know, and a tough group there with Kerry and Donegal. Wouldn't find themselves in, you know, but we can't really talk much about that after the game. We'll know on Sunday what they'll affect, you know.
Brendan Coulter, on that note, thanks a million for giving you your thoughts on this week's round 4 qualifiers, and hopefully we'll have a festival of football, and here's hoping on a Clare end that we come through to the Super 8s. Great talking to you as always, Brendan.